What is up, everybody? Mark here from Big Blue Laser Designs, and today I'm going to give you an overview of my compact dice vault. A lot of you are going to love these things. They're so cool. It gives you a way to carry all of your dice, your character. It even gives you some spell slot trackers and some status trackers. You're going to love all the options that are built in. Let's take a quick overview of what it looks like, and then I'll show you how it all goes together. So here's what it looks like on the inside. You might have already seen this in some of the preview videos, but it goes together with some strong magnets that you can buy locally at one of your hobby stores or craft stores. And even though I've got some really strong magnets on here and it's a little bit of a pain to get open, it guarantees that it doesn't come open in a bag or when I'm transporting it. So I really like that a lot. You've got space for up to 9 different dice here, and also a space for a miniature if you have one. And a bonus is that if you have a phone that you tend to use while you're playing, like if you like to have your character sheet or something else up, your phone can stand right here in this slot and stand up right there, and it holds it vertically so you can look at it without having to hold it. So that's a really nice bonus feature as well. Here's something else I really like that's built in that a lot of people don't see at first glance. If you pull out these 2 tabs right here you've got a hidden status tracker and spell slot tracker right there that you can use. Just put that down on the table, and then you can use these tabs right here to just mark wherever you're at on those different things right there. It's really cool, and it's built right in. And then the tabs just store right there for when you're traveling. When you're done, you take this, you slide it back in with the curved corners first, like that. And then these 2 tabs fit right back down into there. And they hold them from moving at all. You can't even get it out. So it stays in there while you're traveling. Then, of course, you can use this to roll your dice in. And then it just goes all back on the top there, and you're ready to go. So let's go over how this goes together and a few tips and tricks that I have that I learned when I was assembling it. Okay, here are all the pieces. I'm going to go over these in a couple of different ways to help you really get your head around which pieces go where. So the first thing I'm going to do is just walk through a visual look at the project again, and then I'm going to show you which pieces are 1/4 inch and which are 1/8, and then I'll come back one more time and put them in the right order and put them together so you really feel confident. So of course, here's the lid. Starting from the top going down, we've got an 1/8 inch piece right here, and then we've got a 1/4 inch piece, which I used acrylic here, but you can use whatever you like. And then I've got an 1/8 and an 1/8. And the reason that those 2 are separate pieces rather than a 1/4 inch is because the top piece has to be the same thickness as your magnet. So that's why we've got 1/8, 1/4, 1/8, and 1/8. So the magnet is right here in the surface. You can use whatever material you want for those, but that's what you need for the lid. 1/8, 1/4, 1/8, 1/8. Put that aside, and we'll talk about the base next. All right. So here's the base. Starting from the bottom, let me see if I can not dump everything out. We've got an 1/8 inch piece on the bottom, followed by the yellow-green right there, which is a 1/4 inch. And then another 1/8 for the top, which makes this 3-piece little slide slot section. And then we've got a 1/4 and a 1/4, and then an 1/8, which with your magnets on the top. And let me show you why this is important that this be a 1/4 inch here, because when you pull these tabs out, like you probably saw in the preview video, this status tracker and your spell slot tracker fits nicely right in there. And this is an 1/8 inch, and the gap is 1/4, so that way it doesn't fight you when it goes in there. Then when you get it all the way back in, you just put these tabs back in, and it holds it from falling out or being able to be pulled out, unless you want it to come out. So that's what you've got there as far as those pieces. So let me set this aside, and then we'll go over the pieces here that I've cut for this demonstration. So right up here, I've got the 4 pieces that are cut out of 1/4 inch. Again, from the right to the left, we've got the U-shaped divider that goes in the slot in the bottom. Of course, you recognize these 2. Those are the top of the bottom piece that has the dice in them. And then this is the spacer that's in the lid, which is this acrylic right there. And then the other 6 pieces are all 1/8 inch. So let me hit pause real quick. I'll rearrange these in the order that we're going to put them together, and we'll go from the bottom to the top and assemble it all together. Okay, now I've got everything in order that we're going to put it together. So let me start in the bottom right-hand corner with the very bottom of the whole project. This right here is the very bottom piece, and you'll know it is because it has this notch in it right here. The next piece you want to glue on is this U-shaped 1/4 inch piece. Again, this is 1/8 and then this is 1/4. This 1/8 inch one with the slots go on top of that, and you know which way it goes because it also has this matching slot right here, or notch that goes right there. The next two pieces are these two, and you want to put on the one that has the slightly smaller circles first. So you put that there, and then the one with the slightly larger circles next. Get them all nice and lined up. It's really important that this get nicely lined up when you're gluing, so make sure you take a moment to do that. And what I did, side note, I went ahead and cut a couple of these guys out of the material I'm going to use, and I put them right in there so that when I was gluing it together, it helped me keep them aligned a little easier. So you might just use that as one of the little alignment tricks. And of course I clamp these together as when I glued them to hold them from moving. But those can help you keep things in the right place. And then the last piece for the bottom is going to be this one right here, and it's got the 4 holes in it and the notches on the top and the bottom. And so that creates a notch for you to use your thumb to be able to pull these apart. Depending on what magnets you use, mine goes together really tight, which is great because it doesn't come apart in a bag or anything, but you really need this notch right here to be able to lift up on it to get the top from the bottom. So that's the bottom piece. And then the top is really straightforward. Here's the bottom, or the top. In this case, we're building up toward ourselves. Followed by the 1/4 inch piece, which again, mine is that green-yellow acrylic there, which you can use whatever you want. Next one is this one here. Followed by the top, or the bottom, that goes just like that. And that's where your magnets are glued in. Let me give you one little pro tip. Glue your magnets in and let those suckers dry completely overnight, because if they're strong magnets like mine are, they tend to want to pull out if the glue is not dry. So make sure these are completely and totally dry before you put these together. Other tip real quick, when you're putting those magnets in there, make sure, I know this would never happen to anyone else, but make sure that when you put them in there and glue them in, that they are the proper way to get these to stick together, because I would like to tell you I got it right every time, but honestly, more than once, I glued these together and had a couple of them backwards. So when I started to put them together, they resisted each other because they were the wrong way. So pay attention. Doesn't seem like something that would be easy to mess up, but it is really easy. Let me think the last, oh, right, another tip real quick. Since these right here, if you make it like I did, if they're going to be clear or translucent acrylic, just make sure that when you put glue on these, that you keep the glue up under these edges right here so that it doesn't tend to show, it doesn't tend to push out into this area. So make sure that you glue just along the edges. If you're going to make it with a solid material like wood, then or even opaque acrylic, it doesn't matter. But you really want to try to keep that as neat as you possibly can. So just glue along the edges. I'll show you just a quick look at another one I made here. I used some pattern ply that's this pine tree pattern ply, and boy, these magnets are really, really strong. And I put red felt in there, and I think this looks really great. So we've got the trees on one side and the red on the inside. And just to show you how strong these magnets are, take a listen to this. That is really strong, but it definitely doesn't come apart. And you'll see how this notch here allows you to have a finger hole to be able to pull these apart like that. So this is actually pretty easy to put together. Just follow these instructions and let me know if you have any questions. I would absolutely love to see what the finished things that you guys make look like. You can engrave on these all kinds of things. You can put all kinds of patterns in these to really make it all of your own. So I'd love to see what you do. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, show me what you guys make. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.